is actually set up, it's actually not correct. So we're going to go ahead and draw it in. So this area is currently controlled by Russian forces, and they are actually flanking currently coming out of the northeast and pushing down. So they're coming down like this as of currently. I'm going to assume that they're going to come to the backside of Izium and cut them off and try to pinch him there. So I don't know if the Ukrainians are going to be able to hold off Izium for very much longer, but I'm going to tell you this area down in here, this whole region, I'm just going to circle it. There's a significant amount of Ukrainian troops. So I don't think that they're going to lose that area anytime soon. We've actually been doing quite a bit of ambushes and actually taking a bunch of stuff from the Russian military in that area over the last 6 hours. I want to show you guys a different map I had actually found, which is this one right here. This is a little different, and it's actually one that's somewhat believable, because what I had said earlier when I was talking to you guys about the fact that every single time the Russian forces move forward, they're going to have to leave men behind to hold that area that they just took. Now, looking at this map, it actually makes a little bit more sense. You guys see down here, you guys see Crimea. Well, I'm going to go ahead and change that over to black for you guys. So you guys see Crimea right there, and you guys see Luhansk and Donetsk like on this side. We know that they completely control those areas, but from what this map is saying and what this individual or this group is saying, that the Russian forces don't actually control the land in between the roads. They just control the roads, which actually is somewhat believable if you think about what I had said. Do you think they have that much of a force on the ground to control all this area? So I'm just going to scroll on here, all this area right here. Or do you think the Russian forces want to control the roads in the area? We've said it many of times that the Russian forces, they need the roads to get through.
They need the roads, yeah.
The year it's super wet, super muddy, they're going to get stuck. So this map, I actually do think it's one to take into consideration. This is at March 6th, and they update it every 24 hours. This one updated at 3 p.m. my time, which was just a couple hours ago. So with that being said, this is a pretty reasonable map, and I think I'm going to actually come back to it here in the next couple of days to see what's actually changed. But I wanted to show you guys, this one is pretty good. I do like this, and it's showing the same kind of stuff that I was on the previous map. So the Ukrainian Navy has actually confirmed its first loss today when it comes to ships. The Russian plane actually...
Oh, we lost the video.
$453,000 in affiliate commissions.
Lost the video for a minute.
And actually attacked and sank a P-190 Slovenas, which, by the way, I just looked that word up because a lot of you guys told me to. It actually means Slavic. I don't know if that's correct. Anyway, that was just outside of Odessa. The U.S.-made vessel was acquired by Ukraine in 2018, and the crew of the ship has not been found. So that's probably going to be one of the largest losses the Ukrainian military has actually taken up to this point, and that just happened today. So the Russian defense minister came out and said that any country that offers its airfield to Ukraine for attacks on Russia may be considered itself as having involved itself in the war. So he went on to also say that the network of airfields of those countries for the stationing of Ukrainian combat aviation for the further use against Russian armed forces could be viewed as involvement of those countries in an armed conflict. So now they're starting to muddy the water with everything that's coming out. And yes, we are going to be giving, so the way it's going to work is I believe Poland's going to end up giving Ukraine jets, or however you want to put it, fighters. And then America is going to replenish Poland with fighters for the ones that they had given to Ukraine. Because, like I said earlier, Ukrainians weren't trained on U.S.-made equipment. They were trained on Russian-made equipment, and that's what Poland has. Okay? Now, that being said, Russia's coming out and stating this, and that's another thing to keep in mind. What did they do earlier today? They hit Viviansk airfield with 8 rockets. Completely destroyed it. We talked about that earlier. So they destroyed that thing completely. What do you guys think they're going to do now with this being said? They're going to go around and target every single airport that there is in Ukraine. Now, with that being said, there's a whole bunch. I looked them up. There's about 6 on that far west side over by Lviv. There's a whole bunch over there. There's a major one. There's an international airport in Lviv itself. Are they going to go after that? I don't know. Where are they going to go? They're going to go after all the nuclear plants and the airfields to kind of choke off everything that Ukraine has. So then if they say that they're taking off the jets out of Poland, out of a NATO country. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, I did find this one kind of funny. I thought I would actually share with you guys. So the Russian embassy actually... It's hard for me. This is kind of funny. So the Russian embassy actually tweeted this. There was a Twitter war going on, by the way, between Russia and Germany, but I had to bring this one up. It says, this is from Russia, the embassy. Dear subscribers, we have received a great number of letters of solidarity from South Africa. both individuals and organizations, we appreciate your support and glad you decided to stand with us today when Russia, like 80 years ago, is fighting Nazism in Ukraine. Of all people, of all countries, excuse me, Germany responds. Germany responds to this. This is real. Sorry, but we can't really stay silent on this one. It's far too cynical. What Russia is doing to Ukraine is slaughtering innocent children, women, and men for its own gain. It's definitely not fighting Nazism, is what it says. Shame on anyone who's falling for this. Sadly, we're kind of experts on Nazism. That's legitimately from Germany. It is kind of funny when you read it like that because they're admitting their faults back in the 40s and 30s, and now they're having to say it out loud. But there's a Twitter war apparently going on right now between Germany and Russia. Thought I'd share it with you. U.S. is also given the green light, like I said earlier, for NATO allies to send military planes to Ukraine. This is coming directly from the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, and they're now working on how to backfill Poland with planes if they decide to supply Ukraine with their planes, which they're going to. So the senior U.S. officials are also traveling to Venezuela. Now, this one's kind of crazy, by the way. They're traveling to Venezuela on Saturday to meet with the government as the Biden admin has stepped up its effort to separate itself from Russia when it comes to getting oil. Now, this is even kind of crazier because Venezuela is ran by a massive dictator that's literally starved his entire country. And I have no idea why they would want to cut a deal with another tyrant regime rather than making America energy dependent. That's one of the things that gets kind of crazy to me. And I'm just having to put that out there. It has a lot, like, America itself is somewhat funding the war in the sense that they're buying so many barrels every single day. And a lot of people don't realize this. I believe it was roughly about 10% of the oil that's consumed is bought from Russia. I think that's what it was. Please don't quote me on the numbers. I don't remember just offhand, but it's something like that. It might be 8%. But I don't know. I just can't believe that they're going all the way down to Venezuela to get oil when we can just do it here in America. And just, I don't know. It's so crazy to me. So the vehicles you're about to watch are actually armored vehicles for the UFOR mission in Althea. Mission Althea, excuse me. They have been arriving in Bosnia over the last few days. If you guys don't know, Bosnia is not even really close to Ukraine. So just keep that in mind. These videos you're about to see are vehicles, like I said, that are part of strategic military operations reinforcements. In light of the course of the crisis in Europe with Russia, UFOR is the European Union's force in Bosnia. Basically, it's just a European Union force that...
Did you know that you can make a full-time income from YouTube without ever trying to grow your own channel? It's true.
Resides in Bosnia, essentially. And they've been coming in with all these vehicles, as you're going to see right here. Now, this image that's being overlaid currently is actually an airfield in Belarus, which I will show you on a map, actually, if you guys would like to know. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here as well. So this is exactly where that airfield is that you guys are seeing. It's actually up here in the, I guess you would say, north. Actually, it's more of the western region, just north of Lviv. If you just go straight north, that's exactly where that is. Those are actually two Russian A-50s intelligence aircrafts that have just arrived right there. I have no idea how I stumble across this stuff, but there it is. If you guys would like to know where some Russian spy planes basically are, intelligence planes, are right there in Belarus. So there you go. We're going to go back over here to this map, and you guys know where Kharkiv is right here. I did speak about this earlier, and I spoke about this, I think, in the previous video, that they've been doing actually offensive maneuvers, I guess you would say, is the best way to put it, over there north of Kharkiv. They've been trying to clear some white space and take over some ground from the Russian forces. Now, as the beginning of filming this video, Russian helicopters actually have just taken off from Belgorod, which is just north of here in Russia. And I have said that this is a staging area that actually just saw on the map. That's the staging area. And Russian helicopters actually just took off from there. And I'm assuming they're doing a possible air assault in progress. I don't really know. We're going to
So, what I'm doing is I'm learning the process to overlay a video. As you hear in the background, I'm watching another YouTube video on the Ukraine conflict. and it's playing on my video.
So they're probably going to land somewhere over here. I don't really know. To kind of help them down there. Or they're going to land here and try to move up through the south side of Kharkiv. So that is one thing that is going on. So keep that in mind as we sift through the night. Go back over here to Google Earth so I can show you guys another area. I don't exactly know where this is at, so I'm going to make sure you guys can see it along with myself. I know it's just outside of Kharkiv, and it's right here. So, okay, so there you go. It's on the main route. M03. You guys see it right there. Apparently, by the way, there's an airfield at this location, and Ukrainian forces have actually retaken it. So I'm going to go back over to this map so we can see it. Oh, it's right here. So this area right here. That one right there. They've completely taken it back. I guess they've done it. They must have pushed the Russians back this way, back north. There's probably, I guess you would say the Russian front line is now looking something like this. So that is good. So Kharkiv is actually, they're doing some big things over there. If they took back this, that's kind of a big area and a big deal to take back an airfield, because especially right there on the border of Russia, that's a fairly large deal. That's going to help them out a ton. And I'm going to say that this is probably pretty true, because I found this on three different sites with 3 different people talking about it. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, it's pretty much verified.
Okay. So let's It is a pointless conflict. So I'm, as I said before, I'm watching someone else report on the conflict while testing my new skill out, going live on YouTube, and trying to learn some of these things from the mixer board.
I would assume the Russian forces are still trying to push through, and they just keep getting hit with these small ambushes. So they've been trying to push through all day. Hasn't been panning out. It seems that Russians have stepped up their offensive in this area, trying to push through and link up with their elements that are north of the city. So we do know, I'm going to go ahead and annotate this again. So we do know they're all the way up here, and then we're like this. Now, when I colored this in earlier, just so you guys are aware, that doesn't mean they actually fully control it. I was just trying to make it cleaner for you guys. We do know that they have an element here and an element just right here. So if they can push through here, they can help them take Izium. If they take all this, then they literally would take control of this whole area right here. And that's another reason why I was saying that aerosol could be coming down from that area and landing here to help them with the offensive down in this area. So we're going to push a little bit, not a little bit west. We're going to push quite a bit west over here to Mykolaiv. Now this area has been contested over the last 24 to 48 hours pretty heavily with the amount of fighting that's been going on. There's been a significant amount of it. All right, so we're going to go west over here to Mykolaiv. This is the route that the Russians have been taking up here to Voznetsk. As we do know, it seemed like they were staging to actually take that nuclear plant. But the photos you're about to see is just from outside of Mykolaiv. An unarmed Russian vehicle was hit by Ukrainian forces. So here's Mykolaiv down here. So it's going to be roughly, I would assume, somewhere in here in this area where they keep hitting them in those routes. Anyway, they hit them with an ambush, and they had 2 RPOs, thermobaric launchers, and 2 RPG-26 inside the trucks. In this video you're about to see from this same area down near there, and also down in this area, I'm going to tell you guys right now, the Russians took significant losses when it comes to big howitzer battery. By the way, Russian lost a D-30 122 millimeter howitzer batteries that were actually destroyed. And it's a fairly large loss if you guys think about it, and you guys are about to see the video right now.
Возле Николаева, вот то, что осталось от наших братьев.
Several large 50 millimeter.
Вот пушечки, і пушечки, я вам скажу, націлені в сторону міста, не кудись. О, двигун, майже як новий. Ось це те, що від вас залишилось на даному участку.
Now, with them taking that kind of significant
And said, as of today, it doesn't matter what your vaccination status is, you do not have to wear a mask in the store. All associates do not have to wear a mask in the store,
Cool.
no matter what their status is.
That's good. That's about time. It's about time. Really, it's about time.
That's just clothes.
Yeah. It's long overdue. I mean, DeSantis went to a news conference the other day and had kids from the school behind him, had masks on. He told them to take the damn things off. They're useless. They're as useless as your fucking underwear not being washed. So there's a little bit of breaking news. Corporate from major retailers says no longer need to wear masks at stores.
Вот. Да. К нам лезть. Вот все вы здесь.
So the last thing down here in Odessa, from what I've read, they're not going to have any issues. I just marked on the map just a little bit so you guys knew where those Russian ships were. They actually think that the amphibious assault is not coming here anytime soon. They don't think the Russians are actually ready to do it. But they have set up the city, prepped and ready for anything. It actually kind of looks like we're back in the World War II days. I'm going to end it on this video that you guys are about to see, and I will see you guys tomorrow on another episode. Please do me a favor and subscribe. If you guys made it this far, I do love you. I'm out.
Brand new video just into CNN. This is pictures of Russian tanks taking up positions apparently on the streets of Irpin. This is the city just west of Kyiv where we've seen the Russians actually shelling civilians on known evacuation routes. This video seems to show at least 5 tanks and their crews within yards of these civilian apartments. We're going to keep our eye on this and bring you much more when we get it in. Joining me now is Petro Poroshenko. He is the former president of Ukraine. The former president has been on the streets with the Territorial Civilian Defense Forces. Mr. President, thank you so much for being with us. We've seen civilians hit along these well-known evacuation routes from Ukrainian cities? Do you believe the Russians are targeting civilians?
Definitely, and we have absolutely clear evidence of that because our battalion, you see the soldiers of this battalion, yesterday and day before yesterday was responsible for the evacuation from Bucha, Gostomel, and Irpin. We evacuate 2,500 children and women, and we see with our own eyes the attack with the mortar and artillery, the civilians who trying to avoid to leave the city, and this is the act of the
Alright, let me grab
bloody
this one.
Bacha
And,
killer Putin, and we see that.
okay, so we are still testing the waters of this new system. And I am going to go over here and see if I can't figure out how to add. I want to add a Whoa! That's not what I wanted. Cancel that. Oh. Yes, I did that. Okay. So, let's see. Image. Window capture. Okay. Let's see here. So, I don't think I have anything up that you can't see. So, let's do this. Nope, nope, nope. I don't want to do that one. I want to do this one. Let's do this. Okay. Yeah, there we go. No, let's go. This. Okay, let's see here. I don't want you to do that. It's not showing up on that, so let's get out of this. So don't get out of that yet. Yes, I'm still streaming, learning. Source. Text. Window capture group. Video devices. Release. Let's see. HD. Virtual camera. OBS. Virtual camera. Don't have virtual camera. Bigger video. So, full screen here, and go back to this. I don't have anybody in my chat, so I'm going to close that now. Okay, so oh, we'll stop that. It froze. It froze. Alright, I got it back. Okay. So, video capture, property, sources. Let's add the source. Display capture. Add existing. I'm new to this, so you're getting what I'm getting. Okay, let's do that. Yes, do that. I'll do that. Okay. Add media source. Oh, go back. Let's go add media source. Media source visible. Okay. Source. Okay. Profile. That local file now plays back. Assholes, stop calling me. Remove this. Okay. Add your capture disk. What does that mean? Just group me. See? I'm trying to grab. What if I got a studio mode? Oop, hey. Am I still there? Let's see here. So, transition. Video source, video capture. Okay. What did I do here? Get to it. Okay, so that is source. You can see it source. Why is it not? Why is my screen black now? Undo that. Let's do this. Let's see. Let's see. Settings. Something about my screen. Quit. Don't disconnect.